and welcome to Bahia Feliz in the Canary Islands for the 1985 IMCO World Windsurfing Championships.
And for the next 50 minutes we're going to see some really hot windsurfing action like this.
Absolutely brilliant. Well, that's the sort of action that you're going to see during the next 50 minutes. Welcome once again. My name's Terry Walsh, and with me is Screen Sports resident windsurfing expert and race commentator Ian Hughes. Ian, let's start straight away with the championships. This is the IMCO class, of course, isn't it?
That's right, it's the International Mistral Class organisation that's rated about third in the world this year.
Now, the World and European Championships have been combined this year, and they're based here in the Canary Islands. Absolutely superb location.
It is, it's a fantastic location. There's regular trade winds that range between 8 to 40 knots. We've got regular sunshine, and it's going to be a pretty tough competition this year.
It certainly is. Now, how do you judge a windsurfing competition?
Okay, there's various disciplines which will be happening over the next couple of weeks here at Gran Canaria. There's the triangle racing that's set around an Olympic triangle course. That's the first discipline. And the competitors will be set up into 3 different weight groups. There's the lightweights, under 71 kilograms, the heavyweights over that weight limit, and of course the class for the ladies as well.
Now, before you go on, weight is of course quite important, isn't it?
It is very important because the lightweight conditions will suit the lightweight sailor, and the heavyweights, the stronger wind conditions, will obviously suit the heavyweight sailor.
Right, so that's triangle racing. What other disciplines do we have?
There's slalom racing that's set around a slalom course, and there's also freestyle. And for each of those disciplines, the competitors will be using the Mistral Superlight board, and they've got an option of 2 sail sizes. There's the 6-metre sail for medium wind conditions, and the 4.8 sail for stronger wind conditions.
Right, so that's triangle racing, there's slalom, we've got FUNBOARD as well, haven't we?
Yes, the FUNBOARD is another discipline which will be set with a minimum wind speed of 15 knots of wind, and they'll be using the Mistral Tarifa board for that, yeah.
Now, it should prove to be one of the most exciting, if not the toughest, championship yet.
That's right, there's potentially quite a few world champions in the making. The Norwegian camp have sent over their reigning world champion OLLIE HOLM from Norway, along with HAWKEN, NISSEN, and Ben OAKLEY from the UK in the heavyweight section. So looking at the lightweights, we've got Hans Andersson from Sweden, we've got Thomas Foyen from Norway, and also Per Wold from Sweden. And in the ladies section, there's the reigning world champion Joran Hagen from Norway. There's CAROLL ALIE from Canada, who's a world champion in another class, but certainly a girl to watch out for.
And this is in fact her first attempt at this class, isn't it?
That's right, absolutely right. Yeah. And of course, a Dutch competitor, a very good up-and-coming star, that's Liz Court.
And now she's fairly young, but I think someone worth looking out for, isn't she?
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so they're the names that we must look out for in the rest of the championships. We're going to start straight away with the FUNBOARD. I think that's probably the most exciting of the different divisions to look at.
Great, let's go to it.
Okay. Well, as Ian takes his place in the commentary position, let me tell you that there are 180 competitors here from 20 countries around the world. Some countries have sent official teams, accompanied of course by the usual band of supporters, while many competitors are here as private entries. By far the biggest contingent are the British, with 12 team entrants and 12 private entries. Incidentally, they're all competing under the banner of England. Whether it's because there are no Welsh or Scots here, we're not quite sure. Anyway, that's the lineup, so let's get straight on with the racing, and the first of the FUNBOARD semi-finals, commentator Ian Hughes.
So, all 10 competitors lined up on the start line for the first semi-final of the funboard discipline. Mike Mounterfield, the race officer, you can see in the front there, just lining the competitors up. They're away, and all 10 are off, all fighting their way out towards the water's edge. And we can see that the leading competitor at the moment is Trevor Hunt from Barbados, just from Watercottim from Belgium. The two breaking away, fighting for clean winds. We can see that Trevor Hunt from Barbados is slightly more upwind than Watercottim. But at the moment, the wind conditions closest to shore around about 15 to 18 knots of wind, and we understand from the race officers way out to sea on buoy 2 there's around about 20-25 knots of wind. So varying conditions for this first semi-final of the funboard event. Now the competitors coming back down towards the beach, and we can see currently leading it's Randy Lobry from Holland, who's broken clear as he comes up to take the second buoy. Carve jibes around and loses it, actually falls into the water, so he's going to make a recovery as quick as he soon can. That's Trevor Hunt from Barbados says thanks very much indeed, I'll take the lead if you don't mind, and Torben Cornum from Denmark in third position. At the moment the wind just dropped off fractionally, so competitors finding it very difficult indeed. Another one drops in, but Torben Cornum from Denmark breaks his way off towards the third buoy, and the rest of the competitors coming around. M66 we can see that's OLLIE HOLM from Norway, and also Watercottim from Belgium. So those are the top positions at the moment. The first 5 go through to the semi-final, so they'll all be fighting their way around to get in the top 5 positions. Coming up to the fourth buoy now, we can see that's Trevor Hunt from Barbados has found himself some very light wind indeed. He'll have to flare jibe the board around, which he does, but again loses it, actually falls in the water. So Randy Lobry makes his way around, or tries to, but in the meantime Watercottim also slips through as well. So they're going to head their way out to the fifth buoy for the final time, and we can see the competitors finding it quite difficult. Ben Oakley says thanks very much indeed to the other competitors, and he's going to make his way out towards the fifth buoy for the last time before they return to the beach for the finish line. So Ben Oakley trying to get himself in the top 5 so he can go through to the final and keep some points up. He'll be hoping for some good points for the overall championship if he can. So that's position, but right now we can see the competitors coming back towards the finish line, and currently in the lead Trevor Hunt from Barbados. He's going to win this race quite nicely. In second position DJ Colgier from Holland will be coming up to take the finish line in seconds, but the winner of the first semi-final, this funboard discipline, is definitely Trevor Hunt from Barbados. Second, that's DJ Colgier from Holland with his bright blue boots. And in third position, quite a race for third position, we can actually see Ben Oakley from OLLIE HOLM. Ben Oakley just finishes the line. He'll be pleased to get in the top 5. OLLIE HOLM from Norway finishes in fourth position. So that looks like our dinner tonight. A nice little paella that the chefs are cooking up there, but we're going to get on with the second semi-final of these funboard disciplines, and they're away. All 10 competitors make their way onto the water and looking for the first guy to break clean. We can see Ning Ning from Barbados along with Chris Pryor from Canada, and from Sweden we can see that Hans Andersson reaps his way out to the water, and Ning Ning from Barbados finds a little bit of difficulty in the first few meters, but they reach their way out towards the first buoy, out towards the sea. Coming back towards the beach buoy at the moment, we can see Hans Andersson is currently leading. Wind conditions again dropped off closest towards the beach. In second, that's Chris Pryor, and in third position, Thomas Foyen from Norway, the young Norwegian competitor, and in fourth position, Mark Carney from the UK. So the top 4 successfully around buoy number 2. They're going to reach their way back out towards the buoy out to sea, where the wind has picked up considerably from along the shoreline. A bit of a collision going on between Randell Valdez and one of the other competitors, so they find the conditions obviously quite difficult. As I mentioned, the wind has dropped off close to shore and varying in speed throughout the course. And Hans Andersson from Sweden goes out to take the leads, but we can see midfield some of the competitors still finding the conditions not to their liking. There's 1 or 2 holes there which is causing quite a few problems for the competitors and their boards. Again, the top 5 will go through to the grand final of this funboard discipline. Well, Ning Ning's found difficulty as well. He's had to round the buoy for the second time, which he completes now, and again he'll be making his way out towards the buoy, out towards the sea, before they return home, and the leading competitors come up to take the finish line, which you can see with the flagpole just to the right of the screen. And leading is young Thomas Foyen from Norway. He'll be first across the line, the yellow and blue sail. Thomas has been sailing since he was just 9 years of age, and he'll be pleased that he'll be getting through to the grand final. And second, third, it could be anybody between Keith Embleton from the Channel Islands, Chris Pryor from Canada, and young Axel Nissen Lee, who's just coming up in front of the camera right now. Well, Well, as you can see, whilst you're watching the race, the wind conditions had varied quite a lot on the course, so we'll go across for a decision from one of the race officials to find out where we're going to hold the final.
Well, it's a difficult situation. As you see, the wind drops several times, but it could also be that it is growing up again. That means increasing, that we could finalize the heat. But we will do a quick decision now. Okay? Thank you.
All finalists and semi-finalists, please take one tarifa and yourselves and sail round the corner to the airport. Please do so immediately.
Well, you're absolutely right there, Ian. That was Rory Ramsden, the Beachmaster, and everyone's being moved about a mile upwind, just around the corner by the airport, where, of course, it's a lot more exposed, isn't it?
That's right. There's around about 15 knots of wind still blowing there from the trade wind, so of course, as you can see, it's been moved up there. A lot of excitement between the race officers working the course out.
Keeping their papers dry. Yeah. Well, they're just gradually they're going to be setting up the course and laying everything out, and well, well, whilst they
That's Mike Mounterfield having problems with this.
Perhaps it'd be better off with him being quiet. Yeah. So whilst they're setting up the course, let's move to the finals, in fact, of the freestyle, which is one of the perhaps more artistic disciplines that they have in the competition.
That's right. Everyone can see all the action from the beach, and as you mentioned, it is very artistic. The competitors given 3 minutes in the final to do as many tricks as they possibly can.
Right, so first up in the finals then is John Leonard of the United States, although it's a bit misleading because he's borrowed a sail from a friend.
That's right. At the moment he's actually got the board up on the rail. That's called a rail ride. He's going to turn the board through 180, actually sailing back to sail. You can see the judges in the small boat there. He flicks the sail around and does one or two nice sail manoeuvres. And what the judges are looking for are as many tricks as the competitors can possibly pack in within 3 minutes. Obviously, the more difficult the trick, the more points they will get, and the guys will be, and of course CAROLL and ALIE will be sailing later on, will be packing in as many tricks as they can, as smooth as they possibly can, without dropping the sail into the water, where they will actually lose 1 or 2 points, and continuing on for their 3 minutes, saving their most radical manoeuvre until the last few seconds. And all the time.
That's the rail ride. How difficult
is
that?
That's the reverse rail ride. Yeah, that's quite difficult, especially with just shorts on, because the edge of the board is quite sharp. So you spend a lot of time practicing and bruising your knees and your shins.
It's interesting because we've noticed actually whilst we've been here that the competitors who tend to specialise more are those who come from the warmer climates.
Absolutely right. Yes, the guys from Barbados and the States. We can see John here going through his session. Spend a lot of time in warm water, so whilst you're doing freestyle and while you're practicing, you do spend a lot of time in the water, because it's you work out the definition between yourself and the balance. You've got to know the limits of yourself and the board and the rig and everything. There's quite a few competitors sailing today that have never actually sailed the Superlight before, so it'll
takes some getting used
to see how they work out. That's right. Some nice sail techniques from John Leonard now. He's actually sailing inside the boom at the moment, again just coming up to the judges, right in front of the judges, scoring some points. You'll see them come into view fairly shortly. And he's doing all right. He's just keeping it all together, nice and slowly. That's Ningling just sailing off in the distance there. We're doing his heat fairly soon. It's a flare jibe, sinking the tail of the board in the water, sailing flew first at the moment. And again, just laying in the sail, back to sail, both hands off.
Yeah.
Quite impressive. Around about 7-8 knots of wind. Ideal conditions for doing freestyle, with a pirouette thrown in there, so again scoring some more points.
Very smooth, isn't it?
That's the idea. That is the idea, to keep the tricks moving as smoothly as possible without making too many jerks and causing the rig to fall into the water. There's a rail ride once again. It's laying on the board this time, 1 foot in the air.
That's very clever.
Goes in for another flare jibe. And actually ducks underneath the sail as well, so it's a flare duck jibe, they call that. And that's the end of John's 3 minutes.
3 minutes, yes. That's it's always difficult being the first one on as well, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right, very much so, because the rest of the competitors will be looking to see how they've done. We've got a really hot shot here, Nilo Jib.
From Mexico.
Yeah. Now, Nilo's been doing freestyle for quite a number of years. He's been sailing for about 6 years, and again, this is the first time he's ever sailed the Superlight board, so he's been putting in a lot of practice over the past couple of days in warming up and psyching everybody up on the beach, and he's going to do some really radical
freestyle tricks for us. You can see again, he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop at all. One trick to another one. There's a rail ride there, so he gets the board right up on the other side. As he's sailing backwards, right in front of the judges again. Young Mexican. He was actually third in the Worlds last year. That's an ever-roll. As he's standing on the hull of the board, completely upside down with the dagger board pointing up. And Nilo was spending some time waxing the hull of the board to stop him from actually slipping.
Whoops.
Now he just drops the sail just slightly into the water.
Does that matter?
He'll lose a couple of points, not very much because the whole sail didn't fall into the water. But he'll be off again as he's climbing through the boom.
Great.
Again, just dropping the clue of the sail in the water. He won't lose too many points for that. Goes into the flare jibe, just turns the board around through 180 degrees. In sailing clue first.
This is going to take a lot of beating, I reckon.
He is. He's packing them in. He's saved all the best tricks for the final. One hand there, the helicopter. And just sailing clue first. Up on the rail again. 1 foot on the dagger board. His left foot on the rail. Goes for the pirouette. Tacks the board around. The helicopter now sailing clue first again. Another pirouette. Holding the bottom of the sail and the mast. And it's actually going to do a head dip here. That's quite athletic.
Yeah.
So again, he's packing all the tricks in, nice and smooth.
Again, makes it look so easy, doesn't it?
And again, another rail ride. This time actually climbs inside the boom. And as you say, they make it look so easy, but you try doing that whilst you're out fun sailing. It is quite difficult.
Yeah.
Back in the conventional position for a couple of seconds before he works out his next trick. There's another helicopter. Turning the sail through 360 degrees.
And at the same time, of course, they've got to stay inside the designated area.
The buoys you can see are the arena. So they have to stay actually within inside that. Inside the boom again. He just doesn't stop. Nilo jib from Mexico. Back to sail, another pirouette. There's the board around. You see how easy he just turns the nose of the board around again. Another rail ride there. And there's the ever roll again.
Wow, yeah.
One hand.
Excellent.
Completely upside down.
And
drops it, that's the 3 minutes, and he's really happy with that. He's
and of course
chopped.
You have to finish by entering the water, and you do get marks for the way that you enter the water as well.
That's right. What will happen is the competitors will save their most radical trick right towards the end, and Mike Mounterfield, the race officer, actually gives them a countdown. We tell them they've got 30 seconds left, 10 seconds, and then they obviously save their most radical trick right to the end.
Out to sea at the moment, the heavyweights are taking part in their heat of the triangle racing discipline. It's round an Olympic course, and it's an ongoing event throughout the championships. The competitors are divided into 3 groups. For the men, there are 2 divisions, heavyweight and lightweight, with heavyweight being over 71 kilograms, and the women have a section on their own. There are a number of people to look out for throughout the competition. For the women, Canadian CAROLL and ALIE, and the Dutch girl Lisbeth Court should do well. While in the men's heavyweight section, it'll be a battle between the 2 Norwegians, HAWKEN, NISSEN and OLLIE HOLM. Meanwhile, for the lightweight men, it'll be a battle between the Norwegian, Thomas Foyen, and Sweden's Per Whole. At the halfway stage, after 3 races, there was a clear leader in the women's section. It was Holland's Lisbeth Court with 3 wins out of 3. Was she hopeful of being the new world champion?
No, I hope so. I hope the wind is coming up, and tomorrow there is a wind like this, and then maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think you're doing so well because the winds are very similar to back home?
Yeah, I think so, and I'm bigger and taller than the other girls, so that's yeah.
Now, have you been using a big sail or the smaller sail?
The big sail, and maybe in the afternoon I choose my little sail. Because the wind is coming up, and then my big sail is too heavy for me.
Yeah.
And I think all the other girls choose their little sail.
Is there a lot of tactics involved in the sport?
Yes, but I think with this wind it's going straight out and hold your sail, and then that's enough.
Yeah. Somebody said there are sharks out there. Are there?
I don't know. I don't see them, so I don't know.
Okay, well, congratulations, and we'll speak to you later on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I mentioned sharks there, Ian, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but in fact, some people claim they have seen them out there.
I think they have. I've been out on the water for quite a while. I haven't seen any myself, but I have seen plenty of flying fish, though.
Right, so back to the freestyle now. And competitor KB174, of course, a very popular member of the Bayesian team.
That's right, this is Ning Ning from Barbados. As you can see, actually started off wearing a Mexican hat. So truly international freestyle at the moment. Ning Ning's laying on the side of the board, as you can see, up on the rail, spending a lot of the time sitting on the board to start off his freestyle. Again, 3-minute routine is underway. And right now he's laying completely on top of the board, holding the sail at the bottom of the sail and also the bottom of the mast. So how he's going to get up from that, both hands free, you can see, with his feet up on the boom, is still keeping the sail upright, hasn't even touched the water yet, turns the sail through 360 degrees, that's a helicopter. He's a real character, is Ning Ning.
The whole team are, aren't they?
They are, they've come over in great spirit, one foot actually on the boom there. Wearing the red shoes just to stop his feet from slipping.
Yeah, nearly lost it there. But...
Manages to hold it. Ning Ning's a windsurfing instructor in Barbados, so he obviously spends a lot of time teaching and also on the board as well. Still manages to hold it. He's not going to let that sail get in the water. Various tricks, again, the judges are marking on. There's a head dip, actually lays back and dips the back of his head into the water. He still hasn't even stood up yet. He's still laying on the board. Gets it up on, or tries to get up onto the rail. There's the rail ride. Just flicks it back down again, that sail still upright. So he's on his feet for the time being. Pushes the sail through the eye of the wind. Turns it around through 360. There's the helicopter. And again, holding the bottom of the sail with his hand. I don't think he's even touched the boom. Well, he has now. Back to sail. Now watch this head dip.
Yeah.
Forward.
Oh, amazing.
He's a real character, isn't he?
Yeah. Now, the great thing about, of course, the freestyle is, as it says, it's freestyle. You don't have any set routines, so you can change it as you go along or whatever.
That's it. You make it up. What you tend to find is the competitors will work out their standard routine to begin with, and then, depending on the conditions, there's about 7-8 knots of wind at the moment, quite a nice flat sea. So they literally make it up as they go along. So they've got their own set routines, and they'll work around those. On the rail, actually inside the boom now. So he knows he's going to try and pack in as many as he possibly can. Back to sail.
Head dip again?
Another head dip. And he actually takes a drink of water at this stage.
And there we go.
Spits it out. So he's doing very well. He's keeping the sail moving all the time, scoring lots of points. You can see the judges in the little zodiac marking away there the difficulty of tricks.
I'm just wondering how many points you get for taking a mouthful of salt water.
Well, that's obviously a new one. So he's informed the judges of that one through the boom and to finish off his 3 minutes.
Great, appreciated of course by the audience as always.
They love it, they love the freestyle.
Love it. Great.
That's Ning Ning making his way back to the shore.
Good routine. Right, so next then should be Chris Pryor.
That's right, Chris has got a Canadian passport, but again he's been training in Barbados. He's come across with the Bayesian team and he spent a lot of time in the warm waters of Barbados, and again going for some of the standard tricks in the freestyle. Back to sail, flicks the board up onto the rail with the rail ride, hanging on backwards now, and we'll see him sort of bending down, going for the head dip, still keeping that sail up, which he does. He'll score a few points for that. And again just in front of the judges, tacks the board, back to sail now, just holding the boom with his right hand on one leg, pointing up in the air. It's quite difficult.
Yeah. It's been very interesting looking at all the different tricks, isn't it, to see which new ones are coming out each year.
That's right, there's always the standard tricks which you'll score points for, the rail rides and sailing backwards and that kind of thing, but competitors are trying to put in their own freestyle.
Oh, that's the rocking.
That's a rock and roll. It's called rock and roll.
Yeah. No, that's the first one I think we've seen
that's
in the finals.
Nose sink, yeah.
Yes, but is that particularly difficult? Because I must admit,
it's very difficult indeed, because you've actually got the skeg, which keeps the board stable at the back end of the board, up in the air, so the board tends to slip about. So it's all into the sail and holding the sail very steady and keeping the board moving forward, or whichever direction you want to by leaning on one side of the board or the other. There's another helicopter.
Now, there's a reasonable amount of wind out there. I mean, not a lot, but there's a reasonable amount.
There's sufficient, as I mentioned, there's around about quite a constant 7 to 8 knots of wind holding at the moment, so that's just about ideal for freestyle. Any stronger than that, and we're finding it slightly difficult. So we're getting some good sail routines and also some good board movement in as well. There's another rail ride, and bouncing up and down with a rock and roll again, with his right foot on the dagger board, just holding it steady. Left foot up on the rail. Now both feet on the rail.
It takes a lot of control.
Difficult.
Yeah, it takes
just
a lot of
hanging
control.
on the edge like a razor blade. Little duck tack underneath. Lays back down on the board again.
Head in the water.
Head in the water. One foot up in the air. Right in front of the judges again. Some competitors even describe to the judges the tricks that they're doing whilst they're doing them, which is also allowed.
Well, just in case you're not sure.
Again, there's another flare jibe. So some nice steady tricks from Chris. I mentioned sailing the Canadian at a KC, who's been training and living in Barbados for a number of years and training with the Bayesian team.
Obviously, have to
Sailing
please the jury.
first again.
Yep. It's an international jury, of course, isn't it? For the competition?
That's right. There's judges from all over the world in the little Zodiac boat which they've just gone past, so they'll all be marking points for each competitor. Back the sail and puts the tack in. Turns around, faces the conventional way.
And that's
jumps
his
through the
entry into
boom
the water.
to finish off his 3 minutes.
Right, well, we'll be back with our final 2 freestyle competitors shortly. But meanwhile, further up the beach, the triangle racing has finished, and it's good news for the Norwegians. In fact, the champagne is out for a double celebration. HAWKEN NISSEN Lee has won the heavyweight title, and as we see now, Thomas Foyn is just arriving back, having won the lightweight world title. He won 5 out of the 6 heats, while HAWKEN won 2, was second in 2, and came third in 2. An amazing double, and there's his brother shaking the champagne and joining in the fun. While it was good news for the Norwegians, the complete surprise must be in the women's section. As we heard at the halfway stage, Lisbeth Court had won all 3 races, but amazingly, Canadian CAROLL ALIE recovered to take the title at the last possible moment.
We were one point apart.
Was it a tough race?
No, actually it was good because it was just my kind of wind, and I just had really good boat speed. And if you're leading all the way, it makes it a little easier. You're not too nervous and trying to catch up, but it was good.
Yeah, obviously
really
you're very pleased.
I'm stoked. I'm really happy.
Nevertheless, still managing a smile, second place, Lisbeth Court.
You didn't quite make it.
No, it's the weather, I think. And we have strong wind and little winds, and I think it's okay.
You're disappointed?
Oh no, yeah, a little bit.
So, back at the beach, everything's set. Let's join Ian Hughes.
Okay, so here we are for the final of the funboard discipline of the Mistral World Championships. After 160 competitors have broken their way down through various qualifying heats, we got to the grand final. 10 competitors, 4 from Norway, 2 from Barbados, 1 from Holland, 1 from the UK, 1 from the Channel Islands and 1 from Canada. And they include Thomas Hunt from Barbados, just 19 years of age, DJ Kolji from Holland, that's H136, he's 18, Ben Oakley from the UK, OLLIE HOLM from Norway, also from Norway, HAWKEN NISSEN Lee, as the whistle blows from the race officer Mike Mounterfield to indicate to the starters that he will be starting the race within the next couple of seconds. Thomas Foyn from Norway, he's just 17 years of age, Brandel Valdez from Barbados, Keith Embreson from Guernsey, Chris Pryor from Canada, and also Axel Nissen Lee, the younger brother of HAWKEN, to make up the 10 finalists. So that's the lineup of the final of the funboard discipline of these Mistral World Championships. We've moved the start line just up the beach from the original heats, where the wind at the moment is blowing between 18 to 20 knots, once again from the trade wind, from the northeasterly direction, and the start line just being made up with the competitors at the ready. With the beach starts, Mike Mounterfield, the principal race officer, in the water. Also Howard Rice from the Virgin Islands. And they're away, they're off. So the grand final of the funboard section, Thomas Foyn from Norway, N160, breaks away into the lead. Also one of the Bajans, Thomas Hunt, or Trevor Hunt rather, KB77, blasts off into the lead. And we can see the various coloured sails indicating which weight group the competitors are in. They're all using the Mistral Tarifa board once again. One of the fun boards in the Mistral range, about 320 metres long, weighing about 12 kilograms, and the conditions absolutely superb and ideal for these Mistral Tarifa. So the competitors have made their way around the first buoy out towards the sea, and we're just trying to pick out the sail numbers. We can see Thomas Foyn, N160, just 17 years of age, leading the funboard event at the moment. They've reached their way out to the large orange buoy out to sea, currently making their way back to the buoy nearest to the shoreline. This is buoy number 2 on the ins and outs section of the funboard racing. Once again, they'll reach out to the orange buoy for the 3rd time, back into shore, back out once again, and then back towards the finishing line. So that's the ins and outs. At the moment, you can see the yellow and purple sail number M160, Thomas Foyen from Norway. He's a young lad who's won all the triangle racing over the past couple of days here at these World Championships in Bahia Feliz. But clearly in the lead, N160, racing towards the buoy, goes to calf jibe the Mistral Tarifa around. There's the board away, nice little calf jibe. KB77, Trevor Hunt from Barbados in 2nd position, and anybody for 3rd at the moment. Some nice jibing going on. H1360, DJ Kolje from Holland in 3rd. So it's Norway from Barbados from Holland making up the top 3. Mark Carney in 4th position from the UK, sailing for the Carlsberg Mistral team. And as you can see, quite a carnage at this jibe mark. Competitors and sailors all falling in, causing 1 or 2 problems, but way out in the lead, making his way out to sea now, Thomas Foyen from Norway. Coming into buoy 4, still in the lead, Thomas Foyen from Norway, clearly in the lead as he comes up to round the red buoy closest to the shoreline, buoy number 4, sail number N160, 17 years of age, puts in a really neat calf jibe, closely followed by the Bayesian Trevor Hunt from Barbados, just 19 years of age. These Bayesian team have been sailing a number of months before these championships out here in the Canary Islands on the Mistral Tarifas. They've been sponsored by the Barbados Tourist Authority to come and sail out here, and the Bayesian team revelling in these conditions at the moment. 3rd, H136, that's DJ Kolje from Holland, and 4th is Ben Oakley from the UK. So as they come up to take the finish line for this final of the funboard discipline of these Mistral World Championships, still in the lead, N160, young Thomas Foyen comes up to take the finish line between the 2 flags on his Mistral Tarifa, and the winner of the funboard discipline of these Mistral World Championships, Thomas Foyen from Norway. 2nd position, KB77, that's Trevor Hunt from Barbados. And in 3rd position, K56, that's Ben Oakley from the UK.
That's a tremendous performance by Britain's Ben Oakley, and we'll be chatting to him a bit later on, as he's now involved in the freestyle. Well, if you think windsurfing is a young person's sport, then think again, because I have with me now one of the older competitors in the competition, representing the United States, Didi Richelt.
Didi, if you don't mind me saying, you're perhaps one of the older competitors here.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, how old are you?
44.
It doesn't make you feel out of place with so many young people around?
No, I feel pretty comfortable.
Yeah. Now, you're here representing the United States, although I believe you're German yourself.
Yes, I am. I'm German, yes, but I represent US.
So how do conditions compare with back home on Lake Michigan?
So conditions are very similar. Lake Michigan is a very rough lake, high wind and pretty high waves.
So do you think that will give you a good chance to do well here?
I'm trying very hard.
Good luck, and we'll see you in a couple of days again.
Thanks a lot.
In a moment, we'll be meeting our final 2 competitors in the freestyle, but first, here's Ian with news of the new fun board for 1986.
So here it is, here's the board we've all been waiting for, the brand new competition board from Mistral. This is the one that's going to replace the Superlight. Initially on the deck you can see we've got some foot straps, also a sliding mast strap as well, which is going to enable the mast to slide backwards and forwards in various positions. The tail shape is different as well than the old Superlight. You can see a nice round funboard type tail, also some nice sharp rails underneath. That's going to enable the water to come away fairly cleanly. And if we flip the board over on its side, on the other way, you can see underneath there's quite a radical difference. Rather than having just a flat shape, we've now got a triple concave here, which is going to enable the water to be released very quickly, and the board's going to get up on the plane as quick as soon as possible, and that's going to enable the board to move very quickly indeed. So that's the shape. Let's go give it a try.
Ian there in action on the new competition SST, and we look forward to seeing that in action in the World Championships next year. It should be exciting stuff. Meanwhile, back here in the commentary position, we can certainly smell our dinner. It's paella tonight, and it certainly should be good. Right, back to the action, and it's the final two competitors in the freestyle. And from Canada, it's Carol ALIE.
Yes, Carol Ann's taken various championships around the world, so she's sailed on different types of boards, and this is the first time that she's actually sailed the competition board. And she's doing very well over the past couple of days for the triangle racing and that kind of thing, but at the moment she's just dropped a sail in the water for the start of her freestyle. 3 minutes once again, and a very artistic competitor as well, as you've seen by the first few tricks that she's done on her freestyle
She'll be very
routine.
disappointed with that, because I know she was putting a lot of effort into the freestyle.
Yes, it's quite a nerve-wracking thing to actually start off your routine. Once you actually get flowing and get the sail moving and the tempo going, then you get into the stride. Back to sail at the moment, both hands free, actually inside the boom. Again, just leaning her weight against the sail, against the resistance of the wind, up on the rail as well. So that's quite difficult. Both feet up on the rail as well. So a good trick, scoring some good points for that. Nice pirouette, back to the conventional position, and points the nose of the board through the wind, through 90 degrees. 180 now, actually sailing on the other side of the sail, just pushing the sail against the wind. Clue first. She's sailing backwards there, the board up on the rail once again. Turns the sail through 180.
Carol is probably one of the most serious athletes in this competition.
She does take it very seriously, yes. She trains very hard all through the year to keep herself fit in all sorts of conditions. There are splits on the rail, actually doing the splits up on the rail. The girls like to have a go at that trick. They score a lot of points actually competing in that piece. Again, nice little pirouette put in for good measure.
Now she's got to do well in this, because of course she has high hopes for the overall Women's World Championship.
That's right, she wants to gain as many points as she possibly can in the freestyle, so that she can, as you mentioned, hopefully get through to win the ladies section of these World Championships. So she's taking part in just about every discipline of these World Championships, and sailing very well. Again, nice smooth flow of tricks, keeping them going all together, working out in her own mind what she's going to do next. Again, ideal conditions, around about 7-8 knots of wind. Just goes with the duck tack, just holds the sail nice and steady. Ducks underneath the sail, throws a pirouette in there for good measure. And the seconds ticking away. Again, sailing on the other side of the sail. Just tacks around the front of the mast. Up onto the rail once again. Both feet on the rail, do a rock and roll again there. Working the ball backwards and forwards. And goes into the ever roll position. You can see the dagger board clearly out of the water, just holding that into the wind with one hand. That's excellent. She'll score a lot of points for that. Very good indeed. Just drops the sail into the water.
Oh, that's her final entry.
And that's it. She's happy with that.
Excellent.
She'll be happy.
Yes. Right, well, certainly appreciated by the crowd here today, and that brings us to the final competitor in the freestyle, and it's Britain's Ben Oakley, who also is doing actually very well and hoping to win the overall World Championship, which would be an amazing feat.
He's got his sights set firmly on the overall World Championship in the heavyweight section. Ben's probably one of the best all-round competitors at these World Championships. He's a FUNBOARD trainer.
Now, he hasn't won any individual competition yet, has he?
No, he hasn't. He's actually been in the top 3 of most of the disciplines, which he's scored very well in. At the moment he's sailing back to sail inside the boom, and you'll see Ben has been working very hard on keeping his tricks flowing. He'll have one trick after another going all the time. Nothing too radical to begin with. He'll save those to the end of the routine, and keeping a nice flow, again just moving, scoring lots of points. Simple tricks and getting as many points as he possibly can.
And flow is important as well, and smoothness.
That's right. It also helps yourself. If you tend to be a bit jagged and edgy and a bit nervous, then it actually shows. But at the moment, actually up on the rail again, right in front of the judges.
Yeah, very keen to show off in front
very
of the
much
judges,
so.
yes.
There, let's see ever roll again with the dagger board actually clear of the water and sailing it backwards, actually going backwards. Flicks it down. Again with the nose of the board deep in the water, and the tail, the stern and the skeg well clear. Getting a few points for that. And a nice helicopter. Just simple tricks, simple routine. scoring lots of points.
Making it look
Nice
easy.
duck jive there, yeah. He's scoring a lot of points for this. Nice pirouette.
Yes.
Excellent. Now Ben did a 360, a board 360 in the heat, and I'm just wondering if he's going to go for that actually in the final, turning the board and rig through 360 degrees. As he does a duck tack and looks at his watch, looks at the time. Very casual, very laid back. He's relaxed. Here he comes the board 360, actually putting the board and the sail through 360 degrees and sailing off in the same position. He'll score a lot of points for that maneuver.
Makes it look, as I keep saying, but he makes it look so simple, doesn't he?
He does. Very confident. Just drops the sail in the water. He'll lose a couple of points for that, but he'll uphaul it very quickly.
And get back into his routine.
That's right, he won't lose too much concentration on that. Again, he's coming back in front of the judges so they can see exactly what he's up to.
The other thing he specialises in is his entry into the water as well. He does
Yes, he's got quite a spectacular exit. He's been sailing for quite a number of years now. Sails for the Carlsberg Mistral team in the UK. He's been doing various seminars around the UK teaching people how to sail fun boards. Again, just kisses the water, but managed to lift it out again.
But you need a lot of strength to do that.
You do, yes. A lot of technique as well. The resistance of the wind helping to pick it up. Here comes his exit and the finish. And again, he'll be well pleased with that.
Yes, yeah.
Well, traditionally the results of the freestyle are held back until the prize giving, so that's the best kept secret, I think. But for my money, I think I'd probably go for the Mexican Nilo jib.
But Ben Oakley, it must put him in good stead, that performance, for the overall Worlds.
An excellent freestyle routine from Ben, and I think he's scored a lot of points for that, so yes.
And from our point of view, well, from the British point of view, if he does get that overall World, which he now stands a good chance of getting, I mean, that's the first time ever.
That's the first time a Brit will ever win, if Ben does so, the World Championships.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed.
I hope so.
Well, indeed, our hopes were well-founded, because although he only achieved 9th position in the slalom, his consistency in all disciplines overcame all his rivals. And when the results were announced, once again the champagne flowed.
Right, go drink it too. Well done.
Congratulations, Ben.
Right.
So you must be feeling very pleased.
I can't explain my feelings. I'm overjoyed, really. I've waited a long time for this.
So was it a tough competition?
Well, it's been going on for 2 weeks, and it's been a bit difficult to keep your concentration up over that 2 weeks. It's not just a matter of doing one day, you know, you've got to keep at it for 10 days or so.
So what are you going to do now then? What happens next?
Well, have a party first. Have a big party.
Big bucks.
have a nice few days relaxing here, and then back home. Then I'm only in London for about 20 hours, and I'm off to Persian Gulf for a while to do a bit of work. Yeah, more windsurf.
Well, congratulations once again, and enjoy the party. Okay. And everyone back home is proud of you. The first time as race champion.
Although Ben Oakley has indeed excelled himself, let us not forget the tremendous achievement by the others. Canadian CAROLL ALIE won the women's overall world title, while Belgian Walter Cottin won the overall title for the lightweight men.
Well, Ian, it's been an absolutely brilliant championships, hasn't it?
Absolutely superb.
And we have to take our hats off to Ben Oakley, because it was totally unexpected, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, it's the first UK champion that they've come up with, and it just goes to prove that Ben is the best all-round competitor in the world.
And it's interesting, too, that he didn't win anything.
No, he didn't actually win anything outright, but he did very well in each discipline, so therefore he's rated as the best in the world.
That counts, yes, that's absolutely brilliant. But of course, we have to, again, applaud CAROLL, because this is her first attempt.
That's right, it's the first attempt in this class. She's never sailed the Mistral Superlight board before, so again, she's done extremely well in all disciplines and come out as the ladies' world champion, yeah.
And other names do you think we should mention before we go?
I think Thomas Foyan, he's been working extremely hard. We've said before that he's sailed since he was just 9 years of age. He's had a lot of encouragement from his dad, and he's come out here and just shown the rest of the lightweights exactly what it's all about.
Right, and conditions have been almost perfect, haven't they? They've been pretty good. Occasionally we've had wind problems, but they have been good.
Yeah, the time of the year has dictated the wind conditions. We've had a lot of sunshine, which has caused different wind changes. But there again, we've managed to get different courses out. The professional race team have worked extremely hard to see that fair play has been right the way through the championships, and it's been the best, I think, since the Mistral and the IMCO classes opened.
Right, so the Europeans next year are in St. Moritz.
That's right.
So let's look forward to being there, and the Worlds next year are in the Caribbean somewhere, we don't know where yet.
Lovely.
Right, so let's forward to that. Okay, Ian, thanks very much from Ian Hughes and myself, Terry Walsh. All the very best. We'll see you again for some more windsurfing very soon.